Hey, Tiny T here, and I wanted to show you the drain. I got the drain put in, and what I did here. Now, if you're looking, you say, oh, he doesn't have a trap on that. Well, yeah, there is. There's a trap down underneath the dirt there that's buried, and you can kind of see it there, maybe not. There's a little bit of the trap right down there on the right-hand side, but there's a trap under there that holds water, but I had to offset that to come out here to where the drain was on the shower pan. So, anyway, now I didn't just start gluing things on there. What I did is I put those all on dry without any glue and stuff, and I cut, and I had to take them out a couple times and get the pieces just the right length and a measure for where that shower pan is. Now on this one, it happens to be 8.5 inches from the front wall and 14 inches from the back wall. So, and the back wall distance to the hole is not the same as the front wall. It's not completely centered on that. There's a little bit of difference. So make sure you look on your paperwork for whatever model you have that you get the same one. Now, if you notice, I got a pit here, and it's kind of hard to measure out there the distance. So what I did is I put a couple marks on a board here, as you can see, at 8.5 and at 14. That way I could push it up here against the wall, get that centered. Okay, so you can see it's got the mark on there, and that's pretty close to exactly centered, when I can tell. So anyway, that'll work there, and then I had the other mark there, and I went the other way from the other wall to get the other mark. So anyway, that's the drain for the shower pan in there now. So anyway, got that far. Now I got to get the base here for the shower put in and get that installed, and I'll show that as soon as I get that in there. Before I do that, I'm going to fill that hole up, probably up to the bottom of that pipe that I put in with plaster of Paris. That'll keep any bugs and stuff. So I'll bring it up there level with the concrete and fill that up so it's got some support in there for, and try and put that new Wingtite drain that you install from up above. So anyway, I'm going to get the plaster mixed, and I'll get that poured in there. Hey, Tiny T here, and just want to show that I got the shower pan in. Forgot to get a videotape of the plumbing, but basically all I did is come around there. I had to come up to a 2-inch pipe, so I had to get a reducer that reduced from 2 inches down to the 1.5-inch pipe I had coming up for the tub. So I had to cut off a little bit farther down what I did originally when I showed you that, and I just basically used 2 elbows to come up to the reducer, and that is level with the floor. The top of that pipe inside there, that 2-inch pipe, that is even with the top, with the floor. I put a stick across there to make sure it's come up to that, and then that other Wingtite will snap down on top of that. It's got a little O-ring, and it'll slide up and down on that there. You want to make sure you leave yourself a couple inches pipe. You don't want that reducer up right up next to it, or that Wingtite won't slide down far enough on it. So anyway, that's all in there. The plumbing, I poured a little plaster around it, kind of seal up that hole so that no bugs or anything like that can burrow in underneath there, and hopefully not come up through that plaster once it sets and hardens. So that's just plaster of Paris, not plaster like you use on the wall, but plaster of Paris that you use for mold making and stuff. So it's still soft enough you can break up and take out of there if you ever had to tear it out. Not like mortar, which you have to chisel out. So anyway, I'm going to get some drill some holes in these on where the studs are, and I'm going to be fastening those up. And it looks like everything lines up pretty well around there. I got one stud that looks like it all. That's got a little bit of space in it, but I'll connect it over there at the corner. I did chip that corner just a little bit down. Didn't crack down the end there, but it did break a little piece off the edge there when I was getting it in. I put it in there 2 or 3 times to make sure everything was lined up. But anyway, that looks good here for now. Here, just want to show you need to check with the level, and I'm checking right here on the bottom of the shower pan, and as you can see, I pick up this end to get the level, so I got about a 1/4 inch drop, which is good enough for me. The floor isn't quite level, because this normally would have had about a 1/2 inch, maybe 3/4 inch drop from one end to the other, but with the floor not quite level, it didn't quite have as much drop. But as long as it still has some, I'm not worried. The water will flow that way, just not as fast. So that's one thing you want to make sure, because if it didn't have a drop towards that drain, you'd have a water pulling down over on this end or someplace, and you don't want that. So, but anyway, this does have some drop to it, And like I say, if it didn't, I would have to be doing maybe putting some mud or something under there to build that side up, which get to be a little bit of a hassle to do that. I checked it and knew I had some dropped there on the floor ahead of time. There's a little bit of stuff around over here that's a little bit rough, which probably brought that up. Not a lot. The floor just doesn't lean that way as much as what it just ain't quite level, basically. So anyway, shower pan's in here and checked it for level, and I'm going to go about fastening it and put my drain in there.